Okay, hey guys, I'm gonna do a video about DIY cubes that you should and shouldn't buy based on your style of cubing. So if you're just now starting out and you've been using Rubik's store-bought cube, using a DIY cube is a big step. It's a pretty big jump. And let me just explain to you what a DIY cube is. A DIY cube, the DIY stands for do it yourself, and you can take off the center caps and adjust and it has an adjustable screw, so you could loosen the cube. These cubes generally cut corners better than most store-bought cubes, but yeah, let me just tell you about the types. There's a lot of types of cubes: A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then there's a type Q, and yeah, I think that's about it. But this is the first DIY cube that was ever released, I believe. It's the Type A, first model, and this cube is about a year and a half. It's like a year and a half old, and it's from Cube4You.com. And I recently just maintenanced it for a friend, and it's actually good now. Like, it was really bad, but now it's actually okay. The popping is minimal, but yeah, the corner cutting is really good. Here, so you can tell I'm not cheating. And yeah, even though this cube is really old, if you keep your cubes clean and lubricated, like if you clean and lubricate it once a week, they should stay fast. Like, so yeah. This cube is more for, because like when they come and you first assemble it, they turn really fast. So they're more for precise turners. I like to overshoot a lot, which means like if I do a turn, you see it doesn't line up perfectly, it goes past. So, but it can cut corners. I mean, for something like big, I'm just an overshooter. If you're a precise turner, you'll get it, and so it'll end up like perfectly. But yeah, this cube is nice, and I think it's a good starter cube. Now, they have the Type A cube, second model. This cube is supposedly unpoppable and has little edge tabs that prevent it from popping, but I do not have them installed because it's a pain in the butt, but you can see there's one in there. So yeah, this cube is lighter than normal, and it's really crispy. Lockups on this cube are more consistent than the one on the original Type A because there's so many more pieces and the pieces are so hollow. It's easier to overshoot, which is not good for someone like me. But yeah, this cube is also really good, and it's very light compared to the original Type A. Like, this one feels like you're holding nothing. There isn't a specific DIY cube you should and shouldn't buy first. This one is very tedious to assemble, and I wouldn't really recommend it for new speed cubers. Next, we have the Type A third model. This is the newest model of Type A, and it's very good. It's a little bit heavier than the second model, but still lighter than the first model. And the edges here have something weird, so that it also makes it lighter, but then again they're easier to break, so you have to be very careful. And there is no popping on this cube, but the lockups are pretty frequent because of those weird edges. I'm an overshooter and I can do good with this cube, but I do lock up with it. Next up is Type B. Before I get into it, don't even buy this cube. It's horrible. This cube is really loose and it's still very slow. It pops all the time, and just don't even buy a Type B. Next we have a Type C cube. This is the one from Cube4You, and I haven't had it for very long or used it for very long, and When I first got it, it was popping a whole lot, but now I get like 0 pops on it, and it can cut corners well. Yeah, I do lock up with this cube sometimes. I get these weird like middle layer misalignments, but yeah, this cube is good. It's pretty fast, and lockups aren't as much. Sorry about that. But yeah, here's a Type D first generation cube. I actually built this just for the video, and this side's all the way tight, but it's still the fastest for some reason. I don't know. This cube is actually really good. Considering it's like brand new. It doesn't pop at all, and the corner cutting is actually okay, considering all the screws are all the way tight. This cube is very good, and the only difference between the new Type Ds is they unscrew themselves. They should be equally as good though. Here's a Type F. This is a transparent green one, and yeah, Type Fs are very good. They have like a bubbly kind of feel to them, and they're very light because they have every piece is hollow and every piece has caps, even edges, like on the outer. This cube is very smooth, and it has kind of like a different feel to it than most DIY cubes. It's hard to explain, but you would know what I mean if you actually felt one. Corner cutting is pretty good, and I actually like never lock up on these cubes just because of like the bubbly feel. I always turn like slower than usual. Yeah, here's a Type Q. This is also known as a JSK clone. This cube is my main speed cube actually, and it's very old, but I've kept it clean and lubricated, so it has been able to last me. There are like very few pops with this cube, and it can cut corners well. But the only problem with it is that it does lock up occasionally. Like, see what I mean? But yeah, it's a really good cube. But I'm thinking about building a new one once I get my doctor's sticker order in, if they ever reply to my email. It's been 3 days. This is a Cube4You Cube. This is probably, I think, the most recent DIY that was built, and you can see it's actually made by Cube4You. Not any of these China companies. It's the one with the orange core. And these cubes are very good, but they do lock up, and that is a problem with them. It's because they don't really pop. They're fast and have a nice feel. They do lock up, and they do cut well, but I don't know, they just lock up a lot. See, the lockups are horrible for me. I just can't really use this cube. It is nice. People claim to have modifications to fix the lockups, but I'm not entirely sure that they're true. Yeah, this is a nice cube, and it is recommended. So, the overshooting on it really isn't that bad, and I think it could be used for all types of cubers, along with the JSK clone. It just takes some getting used to. Last, we have the Rubik.com DIY. A lot of Japanese speed cubers claim to use this, but I think that they're horrible. Every single one I've had 4. They all have been horrible, and I ended up selling them or giving them away in the end. I only kept this one just for collection purposes. And yeah, it looks good in the video, but trust me, I'm putting a lot of effort into it just to turn this cube. Like, at times I can see how a Japanese speed cuber can use this. I'm like watching through the LCD screen right now, and it looks like I'm going fast, but I'm really not. But yeah, the lockups, there are like no pops, got it set really tight, and lockups are pretty minimal, but not a good cube.